Astronomers have been able to look far back into the universe's past. This is an image of the cosmic microwave background radiation. The oldest light that can be detected comes from shortly after the Big Bang, and it fills the universe. This radiation falls on Earth from every direction in a nearly uniform intensity. It is thought to be radiation left over from the Big Bang, and it helps scientists study the origin of the cosmos in more detail. Taking in all the beauty and majesty that can be found in space, it seems that astronomers and space agencies could never provide enough images and information about the universe to quench humanity's thirst for knowledge. Do you have a favorite picture taken from space? You're watching Matter, and here are 25 amazing space photos. Since we first launched a camera into space back in the 1940s, humanity's been able to get a closer look than ever at what exists out there far, far away from planet Earth. Seeing what lies in the dark expanse of space can be equal parts breathtaking and terrifying. It reveals our place as just a tiny part of a vast universe filled with beautiful galaxies, astonishing nebulas, and mysteries waiting to be solved. What's lurking out in the dark depths of space? This brilliant nebula, called the Southern Crab Nebula, lives in the constellation of Centaurus 7,000 light-years from Earth. Notice how the matter is being forced out in two arcs going out in each direction. At its center is a white dwarf pair. It is named for its resemblance to the Crab Nebula, which can be found in the north sky. In the year 2009, the Hubble Space Telescope captured this image showing another breathtaking nebula found 4,000 light-years away in the constellation of Scorpius, the Scorpion. At the center of this nebula is a dying star burning super hot at 250,000 degrees Celsius, surrounded by a torus of dense dust. This nebula's immense wingspan covers an impressive distance over 3 light-years long. This image of a nebula captured by Hubble has been called the Spirograph Nebula. It lives in the constellation of Lepus, around 2,000 light-years from Earth. The star that gave birth to this nebula is similar to our own Sun. This star was a red giant several thousand years ago before the outer layers of matter were ejected out into space, forming the nebula we see here. This beautiful nebula glows like a jewel with many facets and a shining center. Known as the Eye Nebula, this nebula located in the constellation of Draco is around 3,000 light-years away from Earth. It was originally discovered in 1786 and was one of the first planetary nebulae to have its spectrum investigated, proving that nebulae were primarily made of gases. The layers of this nebula appear as concentric circles. This phenomenon has yet to be explained by science, but some theories exist, including episodes of mass loss every 1.5 millennia. This spooky image is a picture of our own Sun. Astronomers can use different wavelengths of light to capture a variety of details of objects in space that would be impossible to see with visible light alone. This particular image, reminiscent of a jack-o'-lantern, combines 2 different wavelengths to highlight the contrast between the bright active regions and the darker quieter regions of our Sun's surface. Saturn is usually known for the massive rings that encircle the planet, but Saturn is also home to dozens of moons. One of its moons, called Mimas, caught the eye of NASA scientists for its uncanny resemblance to a certain planet-destroying machine in popular science fiction. Mimas is thought to have gotten its signature crater from an asteroid strike some time ago. The star RS Puppis resides right in the middle of this massive wreath-like feature in the cosmos. This star is over 200 times larger than our Sun and burns nearly 15,000 times brighter. This bright light illuminates massive clouds of dust and debris, creating this awe-inspiring cosmic wreath. These 2 galaxies are spiral galaxies, much like the Milky Way, and sit 55 million light-years away. Astronomers believe that an outside viewer of our galaxy would see the Milky Way much like one of these. This galaxy is called the Sombrero Galaxy by many. It is only 30% the size of the Milky Way and sits over 29 million light-years from Earth. This galaxy is composed of a flat circle of dust, where its future stars will be born, and a bulbous core that is thought to house a massive black hole at its center. Stars can also be extremely beautiful, such as the loose globular cluster named IC 4499, located in the Puppis constellation. Globular clusters are giant balls of stars orbiting around a galactic host. This cluster is old, nearly 12 billion years old, and contains 2 generations of stars. This beautiful cluster of galaxies is named Abell 2744 and is located 3.5 billion light-years away. Home to several hundred galaxies, this galactic cluster is thought to have resulted from at least 4 smaller galaxy clusters merging. The massive gravitational field that holds these galaxies together behaves similarly to a magnifying glass, brightening and intensifying their light. Here are 2 colliding galaxies that all lie near the constellation Hydra, around 350 million light-years from Earth. The galactic pair NGC 2937 on the left and NGC 2936 on the right is named HARP 142. NGC 2936 was once a spiral galaxy, but has since been scrambled from the gravitational forces of its interactions with its companion. The galaxy NGC 4826, also called the Evil Eye Galaxy, is roughly 17 million light-years away from Earth. Thought to be the result of a collision between 2 galaxies long ago, the gas within this galaxy displays an interesting behavior. The gas in the inner parts of the galaxy and the gas in the outer parts of the galaxy rotate in different directions. Could this feature have led to the menacing appearance of this galaxy? When 2 galaxies collide, the end result can be amazingly beautiful at times. This galactic pair, IC 1623, sits nearly 275 million light-years away in the constellation of Cetus the Whale. The collision of galaxies is believed to take millions of years, so it always interests astronomers when they find one in the final stages of merging. Here is the star AG Carinae, which is known as one of the brightest stars in the entire Milky Way. The clouds of gas and dust around it illuminate to make it appear like AG Carinae is surrounded by a radiating halo. This gas and dust was expelled from the outer layers of the star around 10,000 years ago and now measures nearly 5 light-years wide. When taking pictures of the surface of Mars, one of NASA's crafts captured this image. It appears that a face is protruding out as if a person is sinking into the ground. How did this structure form, and how long until we know more about this fascinating find? Here we can see 2 spiral galaxies in the middle of the merging process. These 2 giants are colliding about 130 million light-years from Earth, somewhere in the constellation of Canis Major. The 2 galaxies are incredibly active in addition to being in the long and drawn-out process of combining into a single galaxy. When 2 galaxies collide with each other, some strange things can occur. The 2 bright eyes of this space face are actually the cause of the 2 galaxies that are smashing into each other. The outer edges of the face and the clumps forming the mouth and nose are young blue stars that are caught in the gravitational dance between 2 galaxies over 700 million light-years away. It wasn't until the year 2019 that astronomers were first able to take a photograph of a black hole. This is the first ever picture of a black hole, located over 50 million light-years away at the center of the galaxy Messier 87. This achievement was due to the Event Horizon Telescope project that compiled data from over 200 scientists from observatories around the world. Sometimes the gas that forms nebulae can form into familiar shapes. This nebula, dubbed the Ghost Nebula, sits almost 1,500 light-years away from Earth in the constellation of Cepheus. This nebula became notable for the human-like figures appearing to reach and stretch out from the massive cloud over 2 light-years across. This image shows us the closest look at the surface of Pluto that we have today. There are mountains and valleys much like we have on Earth. In fact, it looks eerily similar to photographs of our own planet and could probably fool some people today. But it is extremely cold on Pluto's surface, with temperatures as low as -400 degrees Fahrenheit at a distance of 3.7 billion miles away from the Sun. The Westerlin II cluster is a brilliantly bright but relatively young collection of stars that shines in the Milky Way 20,000 light-years from Earth. It was formed between 1 and 2 million years ago, which makes it young relative to the rest of the galaxy. This cluster is known to have some of the most massive stars we know of, as well as some of the hottest and brightest stars in the galaxy. This is an image of Stephan's Quartet, which is a group of 5 galaxies with an arrangement of many bright blue and red stars. While the galaxies in this image look close together like they're in a group, it turns out that the galaxy in the upper left is actually 7 times closer to Earth than the rest of the group. They range from 40 million light-years away from Earth all the way to 300 million light-years away. Notice that the telescope was able to pick up individual stars in the upper left galaxy, which is one of the pieces of evidence telling astronomers it must be much closer to Earth. Taken during the Apollo 16 mission to the Moon, this image held a mystery that quickly took the nation by storm. What appeared to be an alien spacecraft hovering over the Moon was seen in the top portion of the photograph. It made such a splash that it was even brought to Congress when NASA was asked to look into what it could be. After they studied additional footage, the flying saucer turned out to be an EVA floodlight attached to an arm that happened to be in frame. If you watched all the way to the end, we want to say thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to hit the like and subscribe button so you won't miss any of our future videos.